I spent 3 years doing this online only. Okay. So I'm used to all the tech stuff, but I'm not used to having real people out there. This is this is now the third in-person retreat that I've done this year, and it's such a joy to be back in with real people, but also to have the virtual community out there as well at the same time. So I'm a little bit sort of schizophrenic at the moment. So if you see me looking at the screen, I'm talking, out into the world out there, and when I'm not looking at the screen, I'm talking to the world in here. So just a word about Dharna. I'd like to start. Have the Dharna talk at the beginning of the retreat, because it brings that spirit of generosity and puts it right up front. And this is really, really important. It's especially important in relational practice because we're faced with another. So being present with another with that spirit of generosity, that spirit of sharing is important. And people can feel it. You can feel it. When somebody's there and really open, then there's that felt experience of ease. And for the community as a whole, that spirit of generosity really supports the community. We've many people who spend great parts of their lives supporting this community. Jean, Mariah, people who support the Insight Dialogue community and people who support SIM. And we do it out of love. I haven't been able to afford my Rolls Royce yet. I don't know why, and I've been teaching for a while. But it's really important to support the new teachers, the people who are coming up, the younger people who have families who really do need livelihood support. So for old people like me who are retired and comfortable, it's not so important. So a lot of the dana that you give to this Kalyana Mita Yatra events will go to the community of teachers who are supporting it. So it's not, just me, it's a whole community. So it's really, really important to support that community. Just very quickly, because I know some of you weren't here last night, just to have a word about the precepts. Again, when we're in relational practice, the precepts are really, really important. That non-harming, the not taking what is not given freely, or taking what is not given freely. In this relational practice includes time, taking up all the time by talking in a dyad. So really keeping paying attention to how you are in the relationship. Am I dominating the conversation here? Have I given enough space to my partner? So again, it's that sharing, it's that generosity. Speaking. We're speaking to each other, we're sharing, we're connecting. So that element of wise speech is really important. Sexual misconduct, really not making comments about a person's appearance, not making jokes that might be taken the wrong way, not making jokes. This is not, I was going to say it's not humorous, it's full of joy. But not making jokes that might be taken the wrong way. And intoxication. One of the biggest intoxicants these days is the technology, the cell phones, the computers. When we're here in the hall, then we're kind of protected from that distraction. But online, for all those people out in the world, in the virtual world, really not to be distracted by those little messages that appear on your screen, the little pings and bings that tell you that a text has just come in or somebody's liked you on Facebook. Just to really set that aside. If you can turn that technology off, wonderful. If you can't, just ignore it. So a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to do a very, very brief recap on what we covered last night. And then for most of today, we'll be practicing with what comes before birth and what comes after death. So really opening that window in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, in that first sermon. One of the descriptions of suffering is birth is dukkha, old age is dukkha, sickness is dukkha, and death is dukkha. And I have done countless retreats, silent retreats, where the topic has been old age, sickness, and death. And I haven't done one where it's been birth, old age, sickness, and death. And if we don't cling to birth, death is absent. So we're going to expand that window and look at the whole of this trajectory, the whole of the trajectory of life, not just this life in this body. So I think I'll just pause there for a moment. Yeah. We're going to be working with two suttas in particular today, both out of the Therigatha, the poems of the nuns, the elder nuns. And the first sutta is from Kisa Gautami, whose child died. And she's so bereft, she's clinging on to this child, looking for a cure. So she goes round asking all of her neighbors, all of her friends, if they have a cure that will bring her child back to life. And of course, everyone say, no, no. And then somebody suggests she goes to see the Buddha. And she goes to him and she says, can you help me? And he says, yes, I can help you. I want you to go to your friends and bring me one mustard seed from every friend or family who haven't experienced death. And of course, everybody has experienced death. A family member has died, a friend has died. And she realizes that, death comes to all of us. And in the sutta, realizes that and buries her child, and then becomes a nun, a bhikkhuni, and joins the community and becomes enlightened. But that carrying the dead child around is a metaphor. When we fear death, when we try to push death aside, we're clinging on to that dead child. When we resist growing old, again, we're clinging on to that dead child. So there's a very metaphorical level here. And in the practice today, we're going to be investigating how we hold death, how we carry that dead child. And the other sutta, the other poem, is from a nun called Patachara. And she too's grieving a dead child. And the Buddha asks her why she's grieving. And I'll read the poem a little later, but it's really, why are you grieving? You wouldn't grieve if you knew the whole journey that we take. But when you are uncertain, when you don't know that journey, then grief comes. Your child came in through one door and has left through another door. We'll touch that a little bit later on.